Pujols, 8-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, a legend in the annals of St. Louis baseball. Though his play this season is not on par with his usual colossal stature, Pujols is still all about victory. Today, the Cardinals head into Chicago, where a storied rivalry continues against the Cubs, who hope to keep themselves in a position to gain control in the division and keep one of the most dangerous bats in the game ineffective. Cardinals Cubs on TBS. Next.
We are at Wrigleyville on a Memorial Day weekend, and what a great crowd filing in here to see this matchup here this afternoon. Postseason Pete, he's all ready to go. Norman Rockwell couldn't have painted a better picture as we get set for the Cardinals and the Cubs division rivals Sunday MLB on TBS. Hi everybody, Brian Anderson along with Buck Martinez. Great to have you with us. We want to wish you all the best this Memorial Day weekend. And Buck, we've got a whale of a pitching matchup, maybe the best of the day in big league baseball. Ryan Dempster for the Cubs, Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals. For Game 3, the rubber match between the Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. Let's give you the starting lineup. First for the visiting St. Louis Cardinals, managed by Tony La Russa. And his lineup looks like this today. Skip Schumacher leads off at second base. Ryan Ludwig batting second in right field, a big power threat. Then it's Albert Pujols back in his customary spot in the 3-hole with Matt Holliday hitting cleanup. David Freese, a surprise rookie, batting fifth. He protects Holliday in that batting order. John Jay will make his first career start in the big leagues as a center fielder, and his first start at Wrigley Field today. Yadier Molina, the Gold Glover, behind the plate. Brendan Ryan is the shortstop. He bats eighth, and Adam Wainwright, a pitcher who can handle the bat, bats ninth for Tony La Russa's Redbirds.
Chicago Cub right-hander Ryan Dempster will start today against the Cardinals, and Dempster is a guy that has a 6-6 record against St. Louis. For the season, he's just 3-4, but look at the starts and then look at the innings. He pitches over 7 innings per start, and that's exactly what you want from your starting guy, a guy that'll keep you in the ball game, take the pressure off the bullpen, and we have seen that throughout this series. First with Carpenter on Friday, and then Silva yesterday for the Cubs. Fastball, slider, split. He worked very quickly. Hitters feel rushed when they're facing Ryan Dempster, but 2 out, runners in scoring position. He's had a problem with that this year, and certainly 2 out hits, 2 strike hits, very key in the National League with that pitcher in the lineup. That has been a sore spot for him.
Well, Ryan Dempster has been terrific here at Wrigley Field. And you see the defense behind him with Soriano, Bird, and Fukudome in the outfield. The infield for the Cubs is Ramirez, Castro, the young shortstop, Ryan Theriot at second with Derek Lee at first, and a battery of Giovanni Soto and Ryan Dempster. Dempster trying to continue on his home success. Go back the last 3 seasons, and Dempster is 23-9 here at Wrigley Field with a 3.26 earned run average. Our umpiring crew, it is Mike Easterbrook calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Dan Bellino, Mike Winters, and Hunter Wendelstedt on the bases. Mike Winters is the crew chief. So if we are in need of a replay today, it'll be Mike Winters to make that call. Normally Jerry Lane, the crew chief, but he is injured. We wish Jerry Lane all the best as he comes back. As we get set for baseball today, what a glorious Sunday afternoon it is, and we're delighted to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day weekend. Hope you're staying safe and enjoying the off day tomorrow. And keep in mind what the holiday is all about, won't you? As we think about all of our troops currently on active duty and all those who have served our great country. Skip Schumacher leads off for the Cardinals, and Dempster's first pitch He is outside and high, ball one, and away we go on a sunny, warm afternoon at Wrigley Field. Castro with great range. A little short hop, but a Gold Glover on the end of that throw as Derek Lee scoops it up and one gone.
Well, one thing that Lou Piniella said about his team is the middle defense has really improved with the addition of Castro. He's got a strong arm, throws deep from the hole, and then he gets help from the Gold Glover at first, Derek Lee. He made one of the best plays I've seen all season long here yesterday against Pujols. Lee helped him out on that play as well.
Well, Starlin Castro has been a big story here in Chicago, the young 20-year-old shortstop. And he is dropping jaws just about every day here at Wrigley Field with his play defensively. And Buck, you ask, and we deliver video proof of what Buck was talking about.
Well, it's a short hop shot hit to his glove side. He spins all the way around, gets to his feet very quickly, and then gets help, as we mentioned, from Derek Lee at first.
Ryan Ludwig bangs one into center field. Marlon Byrd on the run. He's got it for the out. And 2 quick outs against Ryan Dempster in this first inning.
Well, here's the improved defense with Marlon Byrd coming over to play center field. Castro at shortstop moves Terrio to second. That improves the double play combination. In Soto, the catcher, has really trimmed down. He's much more athletic, much more mobile behind the plate. The up the middle defense has really improved for this Cubs ball club.
Well, the Cubs start today 2 games under 500. They are 24 and 26. And both of these teams trailing the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Central. Pujols always greeted warmly here at Wrigley Field. Back in the 3-hole. You know, Tony La Russa was experimenting with Matt Holliday and Albert Pujols. He flip-flopped those two in the lineup just to get Holliday hot more than anything else. But earlier this week, he returned Pujols to the 3 spot in the batting order.
Everybody knows what Albert Pujols can do, so when Dempster straightens him up with a fastball, they all applaud that. But Pujols, obviously one of the best hitters baseball has ever seen. His consistency and ability to come up with big hits time and time again.
Well, Pujols still has big numbers across the board. He's batting .299 to start the day. Has 9 home runs, 34 driven in. But as Buck mentioned in the open, he's been on a bit of a home run drought and an RBI drought. Friday, he drove in some runs, and that snapped an 11-game RBI drought for Albert Pujols. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Pujols with 2 outs. And that one is banged way back. This one is way gone in left field on the street. Albert Pujols puts the Cardinals on the board.
Home run number 3 for Pujols in the month of May. It's 10 on the season, and this is exactly what Tony La Russa was looking for from the heart of the order. Production. Big hits from big guys against tough pitchers. It's only the 9th home run allowed by Ryan Dempster, and this is a no-doubter. Out over the middle of the plate, and that's what Pujols does so well. He has terrific plate coverage, and he can get the balls on the outer half and pull them out of the ballpark.
And hello, Waveland. Nice catch out there. A blind catch. So 1-0. The Cardinals take the first lead here today on a no-doubter. That was an impressive home run by Pujols. And now here is Holliday. Dempster has had his issues with home runs this year, but typically against left-handed hitters, he has struggled with the long ball. Matt Holliday with 5 home runs this year, 19 runs batted in. He's done most of his damage this year against right-handers. A .322 batting average. And that one is laced into center field. Well, Tony La Russa was looking for a quick start. Sometimes against Ryan Dempster, the first inning might be the only inning you have a chance to attack, and they are certainly on the attack with 2 outs.
The Cardinals have now scored 32 runs in the first inning. They scored 5 in the first inning here on Friday afternoon against Randy Wells. Holliday had 2 hits against Silva, the only 2 hits the Cub right-hander allowed. He had a single and a double in yesterday's game.
Here's David Freese. He's been a big story in St. Louis and all across baseball. One of the top rookies this year. Checks in, batting .307. That is tied for 8th in the National League. Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers leads the league in hitting to start the day. Well, David Freese, 28 runs batted in. A lot of rookies involved in this series, these storied franchises. See, Tyler Colvin is up there, David Freese, Starlin Castro. A lot of big names in each dugout, but some fresh names to the scene At impact positions, here's David Freese batting 5th. You've got a rookie for the Cubs at shortstop. And the Cardinals now featuring 3 rookies in their starting rotation.
Out of necessity more than anything with the injuries to Loesch and Penny, but still they have enough talent in their system to elevate a minor league pitcher and put him into the rotation.
As a bouncer, and Castro will have to sit on it. So another hit, 3 straight hits with 2 outs, and the Cardinals in business against Ryan Dempster in this first inning.
This is the value of putting Albert Pujols in the 3rd spot. He is such a good hitter. He gets this inning going by hitting the home run. Then Halladay gets to the plate. He gets a base hit. And now Freese in the 5th spot. They can extend innings. And I think that's why Tony was reluctant to keep Pujols in the 4th spot very long. Even though they went 4-1 while he was hitting cleanup. You got to get Albert Pujols to the plate in the 1st inning. And we've seen the impact of that here this afternoon.
Tony La Russa telling us before the game, looking for more production from 3 and 4, even when it's concerning Albert Pujols with that high level of expectations, and they have delivered here in the 1st. Pujols the home run, 2 on now with 2 out, and here is John Jay making his first career start in the big leagues at Wrigley Field, and getting his first start in center field of his major league career. Colby Rasmus, the everyday center fielder for Tony La Russa, but a day off for the young left-handed power hitter.
John Jay is an outfielder that can play all 3 outfield positions, and Tony La Russa just sensed that Colby Rasmus just needed a day off to kind of clear his head a little bit and regroup at the plate.
Not a bad idea with Dempster on the mound.
John Jay is a 2nd-round pick in the 2002 draft out of the University of Miami, and a guy that's just steadily progressed right through the minor league system.
Just 25 years old, and a little bit of an unorthodox swing at the plate. Keeps the hands low, bit of a hitch. We'll see how that plays in the major leagues, but so far he has kept himself on this major league roster since late April. But the starts come few and far between for John Jay.
I may have misspoke when I talked about the draft year. It was 2006 out of the University of Miami. A little bit of indecision here between Dempster and Soto on to how they're going to approach John Jay.
Dempster with 2 on behind him. A run is in, and Jay fights one off. Count stays at 2-2, and a quick visit for Giovanni Soto with Dempster. Now Jay hit .347 in the month of April down in AAA in Memphis. So he's a good hitter, and those who have watched him play on a regular basis feel like, you know, with playing time, he has a chance to be a .300 hitter in the big leagues. Question here in St. Louis, will he get enough playing time, get enough at-bats? He could help his cause today. And down he goes as Dempster strikes out Jay. 3 consecutive hits with 2 outs, and Pujols launching a bomb onto Waveland, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. Albert Pujols puts the Cardinals on top as we head to the bottom of the 1st inning, and big 6-7 Adam Wainwright on the mound for the Redbirds today.
6-3 so far this season, and just like Ryan Dempster, he pitches late into the game, averaging more than 7 innings per start. .209 opponent's batting average, all 4 pitches, and he really pounds the strike zone. Only throwing 14.2 pitches per inning, and he certainly feeds off his pitching partner Chris Carpenter. They have separated them by game, so he watched Carpenter really handle the Cubs lineup very effectively here Friday afternoon.
Kosuke Fukudome leading off for Chicago. Fukudome has emerged in that leadoff spot for Lou Piniella. Ryan Theriot now batting 2nd these days here in Chicago as Fukudome sends one high in the air to John Jay, and he's got it for out number 1. Let's give you that starting lineup. You have seen Fukudome. He leads off in right field. Ryan Theriot bats second and now plays second base with Starlin Castro in the mix. Derek Lee at first base. Aramis Ramirez gets the call today at third. Marlon Byrd in center field. In left field, it's Alfonso Soriano. Giovanni Soto, former Rookie of the Year, catching. Starlin Castro, the 20-year-old shortstop. And then there's Ryan Dempster. Well, the Cardinals begin the day 2 games behind the Cincinnati Reds, the surging Cincinnati Reds. They've won the first 2 games of their series with the Houston Astros, scoring a ton of runs. Meanwhile, the Cubs are 6 back of the Reds. Theriot bounces one out to Ryan. It's a tough hop and 2 outs.
Take a look at the Cardinals defensively. They have been charged with 37 errors, and Matt Holliday, Ryan Ludwig at the corners, John Jay making his first start in center. The infield has really had problems. David Freese at third has been fine. He's been excellent, but Brendan Ryan and Skip Schumacher have combined to make 17 errors. Yadi Molina, a 2-time Gold Glover behind the plate, throws as well as anybody in the game. But up the middle, the defense has been a little bit of a concern for the Cardinals.
So 2 gone, and here is Derek Lee.
Last year at this point, 50 games into the season, Schumacher had committed 1 error at second and Ryan no errors at short. This year they've combined for 17.
Well, it's an interesting case with Schumacher because he moved in from the outfield, kind of been labeled as a super utility player, but settled in last year at second base, proved himself a worthy defender. So a little surprising for the Cardinals. They are struggling so, as Lee is able to check his swing according to Dan Bellino. And the count is at 1-2 strikes.
Well, you can see how quickly Wainwright works. Both he and Carpenter really believe that the quicker you have resolutions to at bat, the better off you are. Hitters don't have much information. And I agree with that 100%. Go up there, challenge him to put it in play. And so often when you think about it, the more information a hitter gets, the better he gets. And this is a perfect example. 2 strike hits by Derek Lee. Veteran hitter, likes to work the count, and Wainwright's trying to counteract that by pitching ahead.
Well, we talked about Pujols and Holliday. The middle of that Cubs order has been a mess this year as Lee takes a call. Strike 3. Wainwright is off and running with a 3-up, 3-down first. Games in HD. Call 1-800-DIRECTV. Outstanding product placement for DirecTV today on a warm Sunday afternoon in Chicago. Dempster giving up a run in the first, a home run by Pujols. Yadier Molina leading off to the opposite field. This is Fukudome. Away. Well, Ryan Dempster coming off a terrific outing his last time out. Cubs have gotten 3 shutouts on this current homestand, and Dempster was a part of one of those against the Dodgers. Went 8 shutout innings, Buck, and struck out 7. One of his best starts of the season for Lou Piniella.
And Lou Piniella was talking about the shutouts in this homestand. They've had 3 shutouts. They've had 4 all year, but he says if we don't get a shutout, we lose. And that's how inconsistent they have been. They, of course, lost to Chris Carpenter here on Friday, and then Silva shuts out the Cardinals yesterday, which is very, very well to improve to 7-0 for the season.
You got a matchup of 2 pitchers today, 2 starters who both spent some time in the bullpen as closers. Wainwright was a closer during that great run for the Cardinals in '06. Dempster, a closer turned starter, actually was a starter turned closer turned starter in his career after his surgery at the Tommy John procedure in '03. He has really found a new level, Ryan Dempster. Now, since the 2008 season, Dempster is 31-19 and has an earned run average of .330 as a starting pitcher.
Dempster was an all-star with the Florida Marlins early in his career, and then for a second time here with the Cubs 2 years ago.
Brendan Ryan pops it to shallow right. And Terrio squeezes it for out number 2.
I think Ryan Dempster and Adam Wainwright, both by showing you they could pitch in the pen and they could start, just reflects their concern more about the team than anything else. When Dempster came here, they had a need. They needed somebody to pitch out of the bullpen. Adam Wainwright did it in 2006 and had that terrific run during the World Series as a rookie.
Wainwright jumping on the first pitch. He pops it up. Soriano makes the catch. Quick inning for Dempster and a bounce back after surrendering a run in the first.
Major leagues, and Halladay was the author of that. Pretty remarkable career, and certainly the people in Philadelphia are getting to understand just how great Roy Halladay is.
9 innings and throwing the complete game in a 1-0 victory last night against the Marlins. He struck out 11. It was quite a pitching matchup with Josh Johnson, the Marlins ace, against Roy Halladay. Joining Dallas Braden, 2 perfect games already. 3 no-hitters this year. Waldo Jimenez is on the list for no-hitters. So we've had a lot of excitement here in the first couple of months of the season already as we hit the Memorial Day weekend. That's good to see Aramis Ramirez back in the starting lineup. He has been nursing an injured thumb. Ramirez batting .164 this year. Into right, slicing away from Ludwig. He lays out, can't get it. That bounced, and that's a base hit. And Ramirez responds with a single his first time up.
Just like the Cardinals, the Cubs are looking for more production from the middle of their order. Ramirez hitting .160 coming into this ball game, goes the opposite way. Ludwig trapped that ball, but he was able to keep it in front of him to keep Ramirez to a long single.
A good try by Ludwig. If that gets by him, Ramirez likely ends up at third base. So a leadoff hit for the Cubs, and here is Marlon Byrd. Bird's been a nice pickup for Chicago. Free agent acquisition this offseason, coming over from the Texas Rangers. And joining his hitting coach here in Chicago, Rudy Jaramillo. 7 homers, 27 driven in for Marlon Byrd, and he has been a doubles machine this year, trailing only Jason Worth at the top of the National League leaderboard in that category.
He's got 23 extra base hits, 19 multi-hit games, hitting over 300, plus the great defense he gives you in center.
Jason Worth, 22 doubles to begin the season. Marlon Byrd at 16. Jeff Keppinger and Brandon Phillips tied with Marlon Byrd. He's also belted 7 homers this year. And a guy, Lou Piniella, can hit wherever he wants in this lineup. He's hit leadoff. He's hit second. You can hit him in a run producer spot as well as he pulls that one foul. Just got out ahead of it.
Well, Wainwright wasn't very pleased with that last pitch. It was up, it was a breaking ball, and it was something that he wanted back, and he's lucky he got it back. And you can see him, his disgust for getting away with one right there. But this guy is really one of the true readers of bats. He really watches what happens to the ball when it gets in that hitting zone, and he's going to make some adjustments. But he gave Byrd a pretty good pitch to hit, and he's fortunate that Byrd pulled it foul.
You mentioned Yadier Molina. He is the equivalent of the shutdown quarterback in the NFL. No running game whatsoever with Molina behind the plate, and he does a great job blocking pitches. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves. Makes it a station-to-station ball game for the opposition. The Cubs are not a club that runs a lot, especially with Ramirez over at first base. And for a guy like Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter, you keep that double play opportunity intact. Molina this year throwing out 57% of the base runs. That is just off the charts in this day and age.
Yeah, the league average is around 28%.
And a bouncer, slow roller, going to be a tough play as Ryan gobbles it up, gets Bird. But Ramirez ends up at second base.
Again, we talk about the Cubs struggling in the middle of the order, 3, 4, 5, just not hitting and producing at all. And as a team, they're hitting 230 in the third spot, 234 in the cleanup spot, and 226 in the 5-hole. So they look for Soriano to do some damage since he's been dropped down in that batting order.
Soriano, 9 home runs and 27 driven in. He has been in the crosshairs of this Chicago Cubs crowd over the last couple of seasons. But he's had a good year offensively this season. He hit in the cleanup spot yesterday. Typically, Piniella has Soriano batting 6th. An unfamiliar spot in the batting order throughout his career.
I think it really makes more sense for Lou Piniella when he's not getting any production, just to keep Soriano down here and hope somebody in the middle of that order can get on base. I thought he was wasted in the leadoff spot. He just didn't have enough consistency to reach base and set the table. He's more of a run producer. Here's another guy too that's been reunited with Rudy Jaramillo. Soriano in Texas certainly got a chance to work with Jaramillo, who's regarded as one of the better hitting coaches. Spent 20 years coaching great hitters, including Juan Gonzalez and Alex Rodriguez and Michael Young. A lot of great hitters.
Soriano draws the walk. So with a base open at first, Adam Wainwright working around Soriano. First and second now with one away. Hitting coaches in the spotlight, you could say, with these two franchises. Rudy Jaramillo and, of course, Mark McGwire for the St. Louis Cardinals. Two highly publicized hitting coaches.
And Jaramillo basically signed as a free agent. Mark McGwire came back at the request of Tony La Russa. Certainly a lot of controversy surrounding McGwire, but it seems as though he's just kind of settled in and got him out of his business now, and hopeful to put that all behind him. But he's done a nice job with this team and just trying to get to know his hitters a little bit more as the season unfolds.
Giovanni Soto with one out. Cubs have 2 on. Ramirez singled to start the inning and a Soriano walk. Soto has been ill. Little clubhouse virus going around that knocked him out of the starting lineup yesterday.
The thing that makes Wainwright so effective, he can throw any of his pitches at any time. Great curveball. He's already gotten lead with the curveball. There he gets the slider to Soto, and the thing that he does is he has confidence that he can use his secondary third pitches anytime he wants to. He throws only about 44% fastballs. He just moves all that other breaking pitch anytime he wants it, and when he gets in a jam, he's got confidence he can use it.
Now here is Starlin Castro, the Cubs shortstop. His first game in the big leagues, he drove in 6 runs. Half of his RBIs came in his very first game. He has hung in there well at the plate. The Cubs knew he would provide excellent defense. He's a Gold Glove caliber defender already. Weren't sure how he would hit, but so far he's done well. 300 batting average, has 2 homers, 12 ribbies, and he is a big guy. He's a guy that kind of reminds you of a Hanley Ramirez type shortstop. He's got a 6'2" frame. Looks like he's got a chance to hit some home runs in his career.
Yeah, Castro's just 20 years old, and he's going to learn more about controlling the at-bats, not chasing bad pitches, but boy, he's got terrific range at shortstop.
And he bangs one back up the middle. That's a base hit. Ramirez around third. He'll try to score. The throw from J1 Hop. The tag in time. Molina with a swipe tag. He caught the back of Ramirez. And the inning ends at home plate.
The tag play and correctly calls him out.
That could be a big play and a big throw from John Jay, making his first career start in center field at the big league level, but this is his third career assist already. Here's a guy who's making just his fifth start overall and already with 3 assists. So 2 hits and a walk, and the Cubs come up empty in the second. And now Skip Schumacher leading things off here in the third inning. Top of the order for the Cardinals. St. Louis with a home run from Albert Pujols in the first inning. And Schumacher rips one back up the middle. Well, a reminder, you can get live scores for every MLB game this season and your other favorite sports free on your iPhone. Get in-depth stats and standings and connect with other fans. Download the Sports Now app today free from the App Store. Great scene here at Wrigley Field. Division rivals in the National League Central, the Cubs and the Cardinals. Here's Ryan Ludwig now.
Interesting conversation with Tony La Russa about why Ludwig's in the second spot in this batting order. He said, I like to have a guy that can hit it out of the ballpark in the 2 spot, especially later in the game when you start to roll your lineup over and you might pinch hit for the pitcher in the 9 spot. Then you've got a guy that can get on base. Then you've got damage in the 2 hole.
Well, with Albert Pujols hitting third typically, that is a pretty sweet spot in a batting order to hit second. But no breather in that 2 hole with Ryan Ludwig, because at any moment he has enough power to strike on his own.
Well, and he's a veteran hitter that doesn't put pressure on himself when he gets runners on, hitting over 400 with runners on base compared to just 200. So it really compounds the pitcher's dilemma with Ludwig and then Pujols and Holliday. La Russa said he's been doing this since 1983 when he used Carlton Fisk in the 2 spot. Ahead of that 3-hitter in the lineup, just trying to protect him, but then it really benefits the team because you've got some real thump there.
And there was a little bit of a stigma to get around. You can imagine what Carlton Fisk thought back in those days. Here's a power hitter, a big man. Now typically a 2-hole hitter in the major leagues, a line drive hitter, a slap hitter. Ideally you'd like a left-handed hitter. But Tony La Russa, he likes that power presence in the 2-hole, and he's always done it that way, and he's been blessed with some terrific 3-hole hitters throughout his career, so he's had some opportunities to do it.
When you go back to Oakland, he had Canseco, of course, and then he had Mark McGwire, and he's now have Albert Pujols as his 3-hitter. But La Russa said his favorite, most effective 2-hitter was Larry Walker. I mean, how about that, having an MVP left-handed hitter, especially hitting in the 2-hole.
And Ludwig, a big cut. Ludwig was an all-star 2 years ago, back in 08. He's a terrific story. He battled a number of injuries, including some neck injuries and back injuries, had wrist injuries as well, the kind of injuries that are career-threatening. But he found a home in St. Louis, arrived to the Cardinals during the 2007 season, and basically hit his way into an everyday role for Tony La Russa.
Now, he's the kind of guy that if you don't watch play every day, you don't appreciate what he can do. He doesn't run particularly well. He doesn't have off-the-chart power. He's not a 320 hitter. But what he does every single day for this team in this lineup is he provides a presence in the lineup along with Pujols and Holliday. I mean, it's a pretty dangerous third of the order that you have to deal with.
2-2 the count, and Ludwig takes one just off the plate. Dempster wanted that call from Mike Easterbrook.
It's that slider that just missed off the plate. Ludwig shows great patience, but then again, Dempster making a very close pitch, 3-2, with Pujols lurking on deck. You got to think that he's going to be a little more aggressive here, trying to handle Ludwig.
Nobody out, runner at first. Schumacher takes off, a swing and a miss. The throw to second is late. A stolen base for Schumacher, but Dempster strikes out Ryan Ludwig for the first out.
Soto had a chance to throw out Schumacher. He didn't get that great a jump, and Soto comes out of the chute in pretty good shape. Stays with that breaking ball, but then bounces the ball into second base, and by the time Terrio can catch it, he can't get back and make a tag. Not a great jump. You can see Schumacher peeks over his shoulder, but had that ball been on the money, they had a chance to get Schumacher.
Only the second steal for Schumacher this year. He's in scoring position for Pujols. Take you back to the first, and Albert Pujols, before many had found their seats here at Wrigley Field, delivering one to the street. A 1-2 pitch from Ryan Dempster.
And now the Cardinals have outscored their opponents 32-14 in the first inning. That speaks volumes for your success when you have the kind of dominant starting pitching the Cardinals have. You give them a little room to work early on.
Now the reigning MVP with his 10th home run, now 35 runs batted in. We'll see how aggressive Dempster will be with a base open at first.
Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, keeping a close eye on Dempster, and the pitching has come around and is going to get better. Carlos Zambrano is going to return to the rotation on Wednesday. Retake his spot in the rotation. He's been working out of the pen and throwing the ball very well.
Outside corner is closed for the time being, and Pujols ahead of the count 3-1. Now Randy Wells, who did not get an out here Friday against St. Louis, will come back and start Monday for the Cubs. And then Ted Lilly, and then Zambrano gets the start for Chicago Wednesday. As Pujols draws the walk. Bit of an intentional pass delivered by Dempster. Now 2 aboard, and this is exactly why the Cardinals spent so much money on Matt Holliday, as Lou Piniella is on his way to the mound.
You can see Zambrano on the bench today. He's not available in the bullpen, and look at the slow walk by Piniella here. Nobody warming up. This is a little manager pitcher conversation about, let's see if we can't get ahead. Look at the first man he looks to is the catcher, and Lou Piniella always has high demands on his catcher. He feels like he controls the tempo of the game. In Seattle, he had Danny Wilson, who really took the brunt of it, and Piniella wants to find out about the strike zone right here too. He was waiting for Mike Estabrook to come out from behind the plate and say, you know, Mike, I think some of those pitches are pretty good. You giving him a real good look there? I know you're a good umpire, but boy, I've seen you call those pitches before.
You're reading Pinella's mind as if you were there. Yeah, that trip to the mound had one purpose, didn't it?
Yeah, he called out the old umpire. Mike Estabrook came out to break up the meeting. Lou says, yeah, no, but let me see how this strike zone is. Because Ryan Dempster actually crushed a few pitches and made some close pitches.
16 pitches in the inning. Piniella not arguing balls and strikes. He's just curious from a fan's perspective. All right, so we'll reset it here. 2 on. Schumacher at second. A single and a steal. And Pujols the walk. And Dempster already with 45 pitches as we work here in the 3rd inning. Matt Holliday reached on a single his last time up. And that one's to third, and that's going to be an easy double play. Ramirez to Lee, 5-3. And the inning is over. So a promising start. Dempster gets his ground ball. A Pujols home run, the difference in this game as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. And fans, a reminder that One A Day Men's challenges you to step up to the plate and support your health. Hit a home run by selecting the One A Day multivitamin that benefits most to you. One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball. Adam Wainwright back on the mound, and he faces Ryan Dempster. A play at the plate to end the second inning. The Cubs were threatening to score with a 2-out hit from Starlin Castro. John Jay guns down Ramirez at home plate. Does two things. It makes it a scoreless inning, and it means the pitcher has to lead off here in this third for Wainwright.
Now Ryan Dempster saying, you know what, if he's going to get that pitch, I got to have that pitch. And that's why Piniella went to the mound. Dempster thought he'd made some pretty good pitches. So that was a silent protest, if you will.
It's a well-timed visit to the mound by Lou Piniella. He got his ground ball double play that got him out of the inning as Dempster rolls one over to third. And rookie Freese in time to get Dempster. And let's spend a little FaceTime with Tony La Russa, the Cardinals manager, brought to you by Edward Jones. And Tony, with a roster full of big-name stars, some of your rookies are really performing well, especially the throw from John Jay moments ago.
Yeah, we've really gotten a lift from our young guys. They're well trained in our development system, and John's played well. David Freese has played well. So, you know, and some of our young pitchers are doing well, a good job for us.
Tony, you've outscored your opponents 32-14 in the first inning. What's that do for your starting pitching? You're built around the strength of your starting pitching. How much does that help them?
Well, stats don't lie for 100 years. Luck, you score first, you improve your chances to win. But you know, we got a lot of threats already in the first part of our lineup, and they get ready to hit right away. But we'll see if it holds up today.
Albert Pujols looks like he's getting more comfortable now.
I said it once, say it again. If Albert's our problem, we have no problems.
And that's a great point. Tony La Russa, we appreciate a few moments with the Cardinal skipper from the dugout, his insights, and he has really gotten a lift from some of his young players. He mentioned David Freese and John Jay, and those three starting pitchers that are now in his rotation and might stay that way because two big losses in their starting rotation. Buck, he lost Kyle Loesch, possibly for the season. He had forearm surgery this past week. And Brad Penny, who knows how long he'll be out. Penny has a pulled lat. They thought it might be 2 weeks, but it may be longer for Brad Penny. So he's going to rely on those young pitchers.
Yeah, he's still waiting on Penny to get back to throwing. He's played catch a little bit, but he's still not over the soreness in that back. So he can't even project when he might return to the ball club.
Fukudome leading off for the Cubs here in this third inning. The leadoff hitter, I should say, batting with one away. Now Wainwright giving up 2 hits and a walk in the second. But able to get out of it with no runs across. As Fukudome pops it foul.
You mentioned the starting pitching and how this team is always built around it. They lead the National League in ERA with Wainwright and Carpenter at the top, and Jamie Garcia has done a nice job. Cardinals went 586 consecutive games without a win by a left-handed starter before Garcia won in April. Well, he's been a nice addition.
As Fukudome spins himself into the ground, a strikeout for Wainwright. And a third strikeout for the big right-hander. 2 gone in the inning in this third for Ryan Theriot. Cardinals starters earned run average this year, even 3. St. Louis as a staff, a 2.99 earned run average. That is the second best ERA in the National League, only to the Padres. Padres have a team ERA of 2.98. So a relative wash. San Diego's been a great story. But the Cardinals have been able to pitch well despite the injuries. The St. Louis bullpen has been terrific this year.
Well, Dave Duncan deserves a lot of credit and gets a lot of credit, no question, because he always preaches to his bullpen, to his starters, throw it over. Make quality pitches down in the zone, and we'll take our chances.
There's a base hit by Theriot. Delivers one to the opposite field for a 2-out single, and that'll get Derek Lee to the plate.
Well, Wainwright again upset with the location of the last pitch, trying to get a breaking ball down. He left it up out over the plate, and Theriot handled it, just stroked it into right field.
Derek Lee struck out looking in the first. We mentioned the Cubs don't run much, but Theriot is their base stealer as Lee takes a strike. Adam Wainwright has an outstanding pickoff move and a quick delivery to the plate. Only 2 stolen bases against Wainwright all season. So the combination of Wainwright and Molina certainly makes it station to station. Ball and a strike on Lee. And he bangs one over to short. Ryan, he's got a strong arm. Shows it off as he gets Derek Lee. And the side retired. Wainwright is through 3 scoreless. 1-0 Redbirds. One to nothing Cardinals. An Albert Pujols home run in the first inning. The difference here as we head to the 4th. And Ryan Dempster back on the mound. Now Dempster was in a hot spot in the top of the 3rd, had 2 on with just 1 out, and Matt Holliday at the plate. But a ground ball double play, a 5-3 double play, got him out of it. So Dempster to face David Freese to start this 4th inning. Back-to-back rookies in this Cardinal lineup with David Freese and John Jay, and then it'll be Yadier Molina. Well, the Cardinals went out and signed Felipe Lopez, a talented switch hitter, utility player, primarily to cover David Freese. In his rookie season, they thought he'd have a good chance to swing the bat at the big leagues, but you know, you're not sure with a rookie. All of a sudden, David Freese, he's rock solid at third base, and Felipe Lopez has had to bounce around the middle infield at this point for the Cardinals. And a called strike 3. Dempster burns the edge and punches out David Freese. All right, let's spend a little FaceTime now with Lou Piniella. It's brought to you by Edward Jones. And Lou, a well-timed visit to the mound. You got your ground ball double play after that.
Well, thought that the umpire was squeezing our guy a little bit. Just wanted to see where those pitches were. He didn't really want to talk about balls and strikes, so we talked about having lunch sometime.
Did he agree to have lunch?
I don't think so.
Stalin Castro, we've seen 2 good plays the last couple of days. How much has that improved your inner defense?
Well, he's done a very nice job at the shortstop position. You know, he's got a good arm. He's got some range. You know, he's hitting the ball. Look, it's helped us up the middle. Terrio's done a nice job at second. And Castro at the shortstop position, yeah, we've improved.
Well, Lou, this is the Memorial Day weekend. What is your marker to get back into this race in the National League Central?
Well, the marker basically is to get over 500. We haven't been able to do that yet this year. We've been at the 500 mark 4 different times and fallen back. So hopefully we can break the barn door down and get above 500 and go from there. Until you get there, there's no sense worrying about anything.
Lou Piniella, we appreciate his insights today and great thoughts and truthful thoughts about his meeting to the mound. And I love what he has to say about the marker of 500 because, you know, no manager wants to talk about the race until your ball club can get to the point where you're playing winning baseball.
Yeah, and that's what Lou's all about. He's about winning, and so you can't even talk about winning until you get to 500. That's the first challenge, and Dempster gets 2 strikeouts here in this inning. When you look at the Cubs where they are now, 24 and 26, 2 games under, but they're 6 back in the loss column. But Lou has characterized it. I mean, you got a sense for Lou's personality in the interview when he talked about the umpire, but he also told us this morning that we've been like a groundhog, creeping up at that 500 mark. We get up and take a peek, and then we'd fall back down. He said, we got to crawl out of that hole and get over 500.
As Molina rolls one to second base. And a quick inning for Ryan Dempster. The Groundhog Cubs. Do they want to stay and play this summer? Their manager's waiting. Guerrero tonight, the Rangers and the Minnesota Twins at beautiful Target Field. He's been a great story this year in Texas.
Well, he sure has. You're going to give the Rangers a lot of credit. Guerrero has always hit the ball well in that ballpark, and they went out and signed him to a very comfortable contract. And he has delivered.
Ramos Ramirez leading off for the Cubs here in this 4th inning.
And wouldn't the Angels love to have Vladdy Guerrero doing what he's doing right now, given all of their problems? They have not hit well. They have really been down in the home runs. And now they've lost Kendry Morales possibly for the season.
Yeah, that was a punch to the gut for the Angels yesterday afternoon on that game-winning grand slam home run by Kendry Morales, and that he fractured his leg in the celebration to follow at home plate. In a moment that might change walk-off celebrations forever in Major League Baseball.
I know it'll change it in Anaheim. Mike Scioscia's not going to allow anything like that again.
As Wainwright strikes out Ramirez. Let's take you back to yesterday. This was the scene in Anaheim. So it's Morales in a tie game in the 10th. That's a grand slam home run to win the game. And on that drop to the plate, he fractured his leg. Surgery today. And he might be out for the season. Most likely will be out for the season. Stunned teammates huddled as Morales remained on the ground for about 10 minutes. And Mike Scioscia saying that it's a recipe for disaster. Those celebrations after a game. You've managed in the big leagues, Buck. And you know every manager today across Major League Baseball addressed that with their team, saying maybe now we stop doing that.
Yeah, and you just cringe when you see those types of celebrations because you just never know what might happen.
Deep in the hole is Brendan Ryan. Long throw and no chance to get Marlon Byrd, who reaches on an infield hit. Like you are seeing today two of the best shortstops as far as range in all of baseball in Castro and Ryan.
Ryan got to that ball easily, but Byrd just runs too well. He knew he had to make a desperation throw from the outfield, but look at the range from Ryan. Behind the third baseman, he's in the outfield. 3 full strides, but no chance at all to get Marlon Byrd. But you're right, we've got two guys that can really cover a lot of ground at short.
So a base runner for the Chicago Cubs. Wainwright has 4 strikeouts facing Alfonso Soriano. He's in there for strike 1. Each club with 4 hits. The lone run came in the first, a 2-out home run by Albert Pujols. Soriano sends one to left. That is over the head of Holiday, off the ivy. Marlon Byrd on his way to third. He'll stop there, and that's a double for Soriano.
Best opportunity so far for the Cubs against Adam Wainwright. A 1-out single, then the ringing double off the bat of Soriano. His 16th double of the season. That ball off the plate inside. He's able to get to it. By the time Holiday gets it back to the infield, it's second and third and 1 out.
So a milestone double for Soriano, number 350 of his career, and it's second and third for Chicago with just 1 out. Their best opportunity to score here. Giovanni Soto, the batter. Wainwright struck him out back in the 2nd inning.
Now here's where the strategy plays out. The Cardinals are playing the infield back here, at least early in this at bat. Pujols is even with the bag at first. He's going to back up a step or two, but you don't want to draw the infield in and give the Cubs a chance to sneak one through the infield and score 2 here.
Well, Wainwright does have a base open at first at the bottom of this Cubs order. He's got the rookie Castro on deck and then the pitcher spot. So some options here for Wainwright. Perhaps seeing if Soto will chase one out of the strike zone. 2 balls, no strikes. And he stays away from him with a breaking ball.
The Cardinals have turned 46 double play. And certainly with Schumacher and Ryan up the middle, they've got a good double play combination. Wainwright not giving in, came with the slider for a strike.
See what he does with a 3-1 pitch. Another breaking ball, the big curveball this time. Soto doesn't chase. And now Wainwright has the bases loaded behind him. He'll take a shot at a double play. Castro has good speed. Fire burning hot for the Cubs here. Bases loaded, 1 out in the 4th. And the Cardinals leading 1-0.
Castro had the RBI single in the 2nd inning. That was the play that John Jay threw out Aramis Ramirez to end the 2nd. Threw him out at the plate.
Bases loaded, 1 away. Castro at the very least trying to hit one in the air to the outfield. And he hits one hot to Ryan. Flip to second. Schumacher the turn and a double play. So both clubs with big double plays in hot spots. Wainwright is out of it.
Double play, just what Wainwright wanted. That's why he pitched around Soto with the base open.
Well, it's a great day for a lot of things today. North Avenue Beach, plenty of folks enjoying Lake Michigan, and plenty of folks here at Wrigley Field. What a great setting this is. Division rivals matching up, and a terrific pitching matchup thus far. Ryan Dempster and Adam Wainwright. Both have been on the ropes a couple of times, but key double plays to get out of innings. Wainwright just getting out of a bases loaded 1-out mess. A double play ball from Starlin Castro. Dempster's double play came in the 3rd inning when he got Matt Holliday to roll into an inning-ending double play with a couple of men on. So here's Dempster against Brendan Ryan to start his 5th inning.
Well, that just reflects the experience of Adam Wainwright. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. He never panicked. He never thought about being perfect. He pitched around Soto to set up that double play, and then had the rookie Starlin Castro swing at the first pitch, and did a tailor-made double play. Just think your way out of situations. Don't try to muscle your way through them.
Brendan Ryan starting the double play in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Ryan draws a walk, so a leadoff base runner for the Cardinals. That'll give Wainwright an opportunity to get a bunt down here. Dempster with 4 strikeouts thus far, issuing his 2nd walk. Wainwright has been a very good hitter in his career. A career .230 batting average. Only 3 for 31 this season. And he's up there with one job to do here in this 5th inning. Always helps a pitcher when you have a guy batting 8th. When he gets on, if he can run a little bit, takes a little pressure off the perfect bunt to advance it.
Yeah, and then you think about just putting the ball on the ground, not necessarily putting one up either baseline. Dempster very adept at fielding. They're going to play hit and run here.
Now Ryan takes off. Throw to second is off the glove of Castro. Ryan to his feet, and he's on his way to 3rd. Well, a play that should have been made at the bag at 2nd. We'll see who gets charged with the error. But Ryan ends up at 3rd base.
Take a look at the throw here. A tough pitch for Wainwright to put into play, and that ball goes off the shortstop's glove. That should be an error on the shortstop. Playing hit and run here, no way that Wainwright could reach the ball, but the throw was not that bad. Castro's got to knock that ball down at least, probably catch it.
So a runner at 3rd for Wainwright and a bouncer. Ryan holds his ground. Castro's play is at 1st. 1 out in the inning, and Ryan still pinned to 3rd base. So the error belongs to Giovanni Soto. It's a stolen base and an error to give the Cardinals a runner at 3rd. And now back to the top of the order.
I'm a catcher, and I will acknowledge when the catcher makes a bad throw. That ball tailed, but that's not his error. Castro's got to come off the bag and catch that ball, and Castro's got 7 errors already, and you sense they're probably just trying to take some pressure off Castro. Just 20 years old, but I thought he should have caught that ball.
Might be time for you to make a trip to the mound and have a visit with Mike Easterbrook.
I'd never get back.
Or the official score in this case. A pop-up. Will they test the arm of Soriano? Ryan is on his way. He stops, and the throw is cut off. It's not very often that Soriano gets applauded for his defense, but he made a good throw, and Ryan is unable to score on the pop-up.
Well, watch Ryan at third. He's going to check with the third base coach, Jose Oquendo. Is it deep enough? No, it's not deep enough, but go ahead and bluff. There's the throw, and once it's online, Ryan returns to third. Another reason why you don't gamble on Soriano in this situation is you've got Ryan Ludwig at the plate. You've already got a 1-0 lead. If it were the opposite and you were down by a run, then you might gamble, but not with Ludwig coming up. He's been terrific with runners in scoring position all year long. He's at 420, 417 with runners in scoring position. 400 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, 6 for 15. So that's why you don't force the tag at third.
And going back to our conversation of Ludwig in the 2-hole, he is in scoring position right now with his home run power.
Tony La Russa got a home run from Ludwig on Friday afternoon here. But right now he just needs a big 2-out base hit.
Ryan at third. Ludwig bangs one back up the middle, a base hit. An RBI single for Ryan Ludwig. As Cardinal fans cheering in the stands here at Wrigley. It's 2-0 St. Louis as Ludwig drives in his 24th.
Well, this lineup works when Brendan Ryan leads off in the inning with the walk. Here he comes scoring that second run, a big second run in this ball game, and both starters are pitching well. He got on, set the table for Ludwig, and now you've got Pujols at the plate with a man on base again.
A home run and a walk for Pujols here today. Pujols belting his 10th home run of the season back in that first inning.
The lineup will wear you down. It's just one of those veteran lineups that never panics. They don't chase a lot of bad pitches, and they've got good hitters up and down the order.
And any production at all from the bottom of the Cardinal order makes this lineup even tougher. Now, Ryan draws the leadoff walk, batting 8th. They clear the pitcher. Ludwig drives in the run.
You see Pujols just 1 RBI behind Enos Slaughter on the franchise RBI list.
Dempster challenging him inside. So a ball and a strike on Pujols.
We were in the clubhouse early this morning when the Cardinals were preparing for batting practice, and Albert Pujols was sitting at a table with a bunch of computers watching video, looking at Dempster, reminding himself what he might expect here in this game this afternoon.
As talented as he is, as great of a swing as he has, that's really the other part of his game which has allowed him to be so consistent. He is the machine after all, and he treats it as such. He had the game face on in front of the laptop studying Ryan Dempster today.
Well, he's going to work. When he gets to the ballpark, he's working at his trade, and nobody is able to accomplish it as consistently as Albert Pujols.
Ball and 2 strikes. And that one misses outside. Pujols' home run back in the first inning came on a 1-2 pitch. And you can understand why Dempster would want to make sure that slider is buried.
He is so quiet at the plate. Pujols really doesn't have an awful lot of movement. He doesn't take a high leg kick. He doesn't have a toe tap. He keeps his head very quiet. And because of that, he tracks the ball very well.
2-2 with Ludwig at first base. And Dempster stays alive. Let's take it back to the first, and no doubt about this one, Bob.
A 2-out home run, and it clears the bleachers easily. Way out in the middle of the street, and it got the Cardinals out in front early and gave Adam Wainwright something to work with. They've added a run here in the 5th.
Pujols homered on Thursday against San Diego. The Cardinals salvaged the final game of that series. That was Albert's first home run since May 14th on Thursday, and has another one here today. Does not chase. Able to check his swing, says Dan Bellino. And the count goes full, and that's going to give Ryan Ludwig a head start at first base. Ludwig, a key hit, an RBI single. Drove in Brendan Ryan, a 2-out RBI hit for Ludwig. And the crowd trying to encourage their starting pitcher against one of the all-time greats in Pujols.
Mark McGwire was asked about Albert Pujols and questioned about which attribute would you like to have had that Pujols has as a hitter now. And McGwire said plate coverage, the ability to cover the plate. And I asked him what was the reason he has such plate coverage. He said because he's so quiet at the plate. He never takes himself off the plate at all. Totally balanced.
Spreads out wide. Another full count pitch. Ludwig takes off. Pujols rolls one foul, so he is hanging tough. And a terrific at bat here between Pujols and Dempster.
When you think about Pujols and how quiet he is, the guy on deck, Matt Holliday, is a very good hitter in his own right. But he does a totally different thing at the plate. He has a very exaggerated leg kick, and that's his timing mechanism. So he felt like for him, he needs that leg kick. The problem with a leg kick or a toe tap is it goes in and out. Your timing goes in and out. Pujols has maintained such consistency because he doesn't have a lot of moving parts. When Holliday has the timing right, he can hit with anybody, but he always has to deal with that timing going in and out.
Now 21 pitches this inning for Dempster. This is the 9th to Albert Pujols. Ludwig is off. Pujols hammers one deep left field, and he will watch this one fly out of here. That's a home run for Pujols. A 2-run shot and another one on the street. 4-0 Cardinals as Pujols belts not one but two strike, 2-out home runs in this game.
So difficult to put him away. He'll spoil great pitches and then hammer mistakes. And that's exactly what he did in this at bat. There were several good pitches that Ryan Dempster made, and all Pujols did was spoil it and forced Dempster into a mistake, hung a breaking ball out over the plate, and he hit it onto the street.
Albert Pujols, a 2-home run game today. 2 homers and a walk. That's his 3rd multi-home run game this year. Well, he has unloaded on Ryan Dempster, and on both occasions with 2 outs and on both occasions with 2 strikes.
I bet you La Russa doesn't put him back in that cleanup spot anymore.
I think he likes him in the 3-hole for now.
And Tony said it was just a trial period of 5 games just to try to get Matt Holliday going a bit.
Well, Albert Pujols passing Enos Slaughter, 2nd all-time in runs batted in, trailing only Stan Musial, Stan the Man. Albert asked the media and all those who write about baseball to stop calling him El Hombre, out of respect to Stan the Man, the Spanish version of El Hombre.
Yeah, Albert gets it. He understands where he belongs in the history of baseball. He has now just moved ahead of Enos Slaughter, and Stan the Man will always be the man. I don't care if you're a Cardinal fan or just a baseball fan away from St. Louis.
Holliday bounces one to Castro, and actually Ramirez cuts it off, and Holliday is safe. An infield hit. Yeah, so Holliday extends the inning. Now, what's so interesting about this rivalry is you see the replay for Matt Holliday's infield hit. The one common thread is Wrigley Field in this great rivalry. And you think about Enos Slaughter and Country Slaughter had some great games here. Stan Musial's 3,000th hit came right here at Wrigley Field. And Albert Pujols second all-time in RBIs with that blast onto Waveland just a moment ago. Well, you got to give a lot of credit to Ryan Ludwig. He had the 2-out RBI single that not only plated the second run but allowed Pujols to hit in this 5th inning.
Again, that validates La Russa's thinking about putting Ludwig in the 2 spot. You've got an RBI guy, you've got a home run threat, and the pitcher, he can be looking on deck and thinking about Pujols, but he better not forget about Ludwig. And that's the benefit of having Ludwig there in the 2 spot. La Russa talked about how important it has been for him as a manager throughout his career. He's always liked to have a run producer in that 2 spot. He's had Dave Henderson hit there. We mentioned Carlton Fisk. He's had Larry Walker hit there. You know, certainly not the prototypical number 2 type hitter.
Well, it changes the makeup of the inning. If you go back and you recreate what has happened here in this 5th inning, remember the lead base runner was on a walk. Dempster walked Brendan Ryan. He stole a base, ended up at 3rd. Suddenly there are 2 outs in the inning as Freese slices one. That one is headed to the seats. But there is a call at 3rd base by Jose Oquendo. He doesn't want to challenge Alfonso Soriano because Ludwig is coming up, and all of a sudden you start putting the building block together and you get Pujols to the plate and he delivers in a big way.
Yeah, I don't think we recognize third base coaches for how many things they have to factor in when they stop a runner or send them. Where you are in the lineup, what the score is, who's the next guy. All those things factor in. More so than just the defensive skills of the outfielders that you're trying to run against. Jose Oquendo is one of the best, and you saw that he was over there talking to Brendan Ryan as he was tagging up and said, it's not deep enough, stay right here, but fake it.
And maybe if you're in a different part of the batting order, if you're down at the bottom, you take that chance against Soriano. And who knows where the inning ends up. So it's more than just a 3-run inning.
Well, we saw that with the Cubs and Mike Quaddy when he sent the base runner Aramis Ramirez with 2 outs on the Castro single because the pitcher was the next batter. So that's when you gamble.
Number 34, pitch number 4, Dempster in this inning.
Now that's a problem, and I'm never really a big pitch count guy over the course of a game, but during an inning, pitchers are conditioned to throw 18, maybe 20 pitches, but when you get up to 34, he becomes like an arm-weary boxer after 2.5 minutes in the round.
And already 90 pitches as Freese stays alive, so the pitch count continues to rise. And all of a sudden, Lou Piniella with Dempster leading off in the bottom of the 5th inning, probably at the end of his line here.
You can see he's trying to figure out where to go now. With Dempster scheduled as the leadoff guy, he hasn't even called to the bullpen. And the one thing we talked about, the consistency of Dempster, he's averaged 7 innings per start. And the bullpen pitched 9 innings here on Friday. Randy Wells lasting just 16 pitches. And Piniella told us that Wells was not in the bullpen today, nor was Zambrano, who's going to start in the next series.
Yeah, Wells will start tomorrow, Zambrano on Wednesday. What a long at-bat here for David Freese. And Dempster in the red zone as far as pitches go. Not just for the game at 93, but in this inning as well. That Pujols at-bat was a 9-pitch at-bat that ended in a home run. Holiday takes off and a called strike 3. So Dempster finishes the inning, but not before Prince Albert comes up big again. A 2-run shot, another baseball onto Waveland Avenue. 4-0 Cardinals. Sunday MLB on TBS, and a reminder that Major League Baseball and People magazine are recognizing individuals who make a difference in their community. Go to peopleallstars.com and vote for your favorite everyday All-Star who could represent your club and be honored at the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim on July 13th. So a 4-0 Cardinal lead. Albert Pujols with his second home run, a 2-run blast. Ryan Ludwig had a 2-out RBI single preceding Pujols. Ryan Dempster hitting for himself here. So Lou Piniella trying to squeeze one more inning out of Dempster, allows him to hit in this 5th inning.
And you can see Dempster can swing the bat. He had a hot shot, one hopper to Brendan Ryan. So they're hopeful of his being able to keep it right where it is. It's only a 4-run game. That bullpen has been used a lot going back to Friday's game. James Russell, a left-hander, pitched 4 innings in that game, 4 scoreless innings coming on in the 1st inning.
Back to the top of the order now, Kosuke Fukudome, who is 0 for 2. Wainwright struck him out in the 3rd inning. The Cubs have had 2 real good chances to score, one in the 2nd and another opportunity in the 4th. They had a runner cut down at home plate. John Jay making his first start in center field in the big leagues. Gunned down Aramis Ramirez to end the 2nd inning. And then Starlin Castro bounced into a bases loaded double play to end the inning. That was in the 4th.
And that 4th inning double play was set up by Adam Wainwright. And he pitched around Giovanni Soto to get the rookie Starlin Castro to the plate. Castro hit the first pitch to the shortstop, double play.
Back to the mound, and the Gold Glover Wainwright makes the play on Fukudome. 2 up, 2 down for Adam Wainwright. Some American League scores for you. They're in the 9th inning in Detroit. Cabrera has homered again, had a 3-home run game earlier this week. 10-2 Tigers. Well, they are looking strong right now in that American League Central. Yankees and the Indians, 7-3 Yankees, top of the 9th. We'll see the Yankees next week in Toronto in Buck Martinez country.
A.J. Burnett started for the Yankees today, and the White Sox are up on top of the Rays. Alex Rios has had a bounce back year for Ozzie Guillen's ball club. James Shields started that game for Tampa Bay up against Jake Peavy.
Tampa Bay still with the best record in baseball to start the day. The Rays have 34 wins. Only the Reds to 30 wins in the rest of the league. Another terrific play by Wainwright. And Terrio is retired, showing that Gold Glove form. Adam Wainwright with a 3 up, 3 down inning. A sunny Sunday here in Chicago. We are on the north side, and it's 4-0 Cardinals. St. Louis getting 2 home runs from Albert Pujols today. Ryan Ludwig with the other run batted in. All 4 runs with 2 outs. John Jay sends one to right. And Fukudome is there for out number 1. 1 pitch and 1 out for Dempster. Dempster has been right on the verge of pitching out of some jams. He did pitch out of a jam in the 3rd inning. But those 4 runs, all with 2 outs, those can be the kickers for a pitcher. You're right at the finish line in an inning, and then you give up runs. Yadier Molina with 1 away. Molina is 0 for 2. So well known for his defense, and a terrific defender he is, but Molina can be a tough out as well. He's a free swinger, but uses the opposite field exceptionally well. Dempster has him down quickly. No balls, 2 strikes.
I think the big thing for a catcher first and foremost is, we all know with the Molinas, is what they do behind the plate and how they handle the pitchers. But also for a catcher, I think the runs you drive in. I don't care about average. I don't care so much about home runs, but driving in runs. I think you make contributions by shutting down the opposition and then driving in runs. I think that's a big barometer. He had 28 ribbies coming into this game. And when you look at the way he's been able to contribute, it's tied with David Freese for second on this team behind Pujols. So I'll discount the average and give you all of that, but if you got a catcher that can catch and throw like Molina and handle a pitching staff, and then he drives in run, that's a total package in my mind.
Well, and Molina has been at his best when runners have been on, especially with bases loaded. He has 5 hits this year with the bases loaded and just 7 at-bats, contributing to those runs batted in. Only Pujols has driven in more. Slow roller, plenty of time here for Dempster. And Molina is out. 2 up, 2 down for Ryan Dempster in this 6th inning. National League scores coming your way, and how about the Marlins returning the favor to the Phillies? They get a shutout today. Anibal Sanchez shutting out Philadelphia. 1-0 was the final score. The Phillies, Buck, shut out for the 5th time in the last 8 games.
Incredible with that lineup that they would be shut out. The Mets shut them out for the entire series. They had a recent streak of 30 consecutive scoreless innings. And it's hard to fathom with that many good hitters in that lineup. Dodgers are starting to come along. Tulowitzki with the RBI. The Braves, since they have changed their lineup around, have started to play a little bit better.
Yeah, Bobby Cox moving Jason Hayward up in the lineup. Prado's had a great year this year. He is near the top of the league in hitting.
Harry Kinski moving into left field every day with the injury to Diaz has really picked it up a notch, and he is a real valuable extra guy to have around, because if you need him to play every day, whether it's on the infield or in the outfield, he'll make contributions, and his big bats come alive. But the Braves leadoff hitter, that's really been the difference. In April they hit 126. In May they've hit 309, and Martin Prado has a lot to do with that since they put him up there top of the order.
It's anybody's game in the National League this year.
How about Cincinnati? We need to talk about what they've done. They're the first club to win 30 games this year. Johnny Gomes is in the top 10 in hitting. Dusty Baker's mixed and matched, and they have really done a heck of a job of promoting some of their young players, especially Mike Leake, of course, has done a great job coming straight off the campus of Arizona State.
They have Leake on the mound today for the Reds. First place team in the Central, the best record in the National League at 30 wins, 10 losses. Now the Cardinals and the Cubs are the 2 teams that have owned this division going all the way back to the 2001 season, where the Astros won the division. Other than that, it has been St. Louis, mostly St. Louis, and the Chicago Cubs. As Dempster comes back with a strong inning, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
Sunday MLB on TBS is brought to you by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated for men. And by Scott's, official lawn care company of Major League Baseball.
Beautiful shot of downtown Chicago on a sunny Sunday here in the Windy City. Adam Wainwright back on the mound for St. Louis, and he is sitting on a 4-0 lead. Wainwright retiring the side in order in the 5th. He's facing the middle of the order here as Derek Lee leads off. Well, the Cubs know they have to get Lee and Ramirez going. Lou Piniella telling us before the game, his veteran players have to start carrying the load if they're going to fight their way back to 500 and fight their way back into this National League Central Division race.
Pretty good pitch, just missed. Another thing he said that was essential for his team, if they're going to string anything together, was Carlos Zambrano's got to win some games in the rotation, and he'll return to that rotation this week. So they need him to be Carlos Zambrano again.
Now Wainwright punches out Derek Lee. Second time he has struck him out in this game. And for Adam Wainwright, that is 5 strikeouts through 5 1/3. Now Zambrano pitched out of the bullpen yesterday for the Cubs, and that'll be his final relief appearance. He wants to be in the starting rotation. Lou Piniella, as Buck just mentioned, knows if the Cubs are going to do any damage in the division, Zambrano needs to be an ace. And he will return to the starting rotation Wednesday as the Cubs will head to Pittsburgh.
Zambrano got off to a very slow start in 2007 over his first 4 starts. He went 1-2 with a 7.77 ERA. This year in his first 4 starts, very similar, 1-2 with a 7.45. But 2007 he came back and won 18 games. So maybe that little break out of the rotation, chance to go down in the bullpen. He threw the ball very well as a reliever, and now he's primed. And we saw him this morning in the clubhouse. He seemed very confident, very relaxed, ready to resume his role as a starter and be an impact pitcher out of this rotation.
Aramis Ramirez down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. For the Cubs this afternoon, they have 5 hits against Wainwright. The only extra base hit, Soriano's double in the 4th. Ramirez singled off Wainwright back in the 2nd inning. Ramirez was thrown out at the plate, and the final out of that 2nd inning. We talked about his injured thumb. He's got an interesting little contraption on the handle of his bat to protect his thumb. You don't see this on big league bats. There's the extra knob, if you will.
Yeah, it's a rubber pad that separates his hands and tries to take some of the pressure off of that bottom hand. He's got a bruised knuckle on his thumb, and that pad kind of separates his hands so they don't roll over. Another thing that he's always done is he's always aligned his knuckles, and that puts added pressure on that hand when he rolls his wrist. So they've asked him to just separate the knuckles. You can see how they're not lined up anymore on that bat handle.
It's uncomfortable for Ramirez to split his grip. I mean, it worked for Ty Cobb sometimes, but not necessarily for Aramis Ramirez. He likes to squeeze those hands together, the 2 hands to work as one. So they put that extra roll of tape, that rubber piece in there to do the separating for him, because your instinct is to drop that hand right back down. And every time the right hand rolls over the left hand, it re-injures that thumb. In the air to center field. John Jay will make the catch, and it's 2 up, 2 down for Adam Wainwright in the 6th inning. Now the Cardinals are wrapping up their road trip here today in Chicago. They are headed home to face the Reds, the 30-20 Cincinnati Reds. So they'll get a taste of the division leader tomorrow. St. Louis found out what the San Diego Padres are all about to start this road trip. That is a very good ball club with outstanding pitching, and here are the Padres. And if you call Memorial Day a big marker in baseball, the Padres are still there at 29-20. See what's coming up for Tony La Russa's Redbirds.
Well, the Diamondbacks have really had trouble. They continue to give up home runs. They've now surrendered 85 home runs in 50 games. Dan Herron had back-to-back games in which he allowed 4 home runs in each of those ball games, and they just can't keep it in the ballpark.
6 straight losses for Arizona. Marlon Byrd, a little late on the fastball from Wainwright.
The Padres bullpen has been outstanding over the weekend. They threw 3 scoreless innings on Saturday against Washington. It's the 15th time that the bullpen has thrown at least 3 scoreless innings in a game.
They are
power
making
arms.
it a 6-inning ball game with the velocity at the back of their pen. And Luke Gregerson, Mike Adams has been terrific. And of course Heath Bell still closing games as Wainwright strikes out Marlon Byrd. So Adam Wainwright is locked and loaded here at Wrigley. Another 3-up, 3-down inning. St. Louis 4-0 over the Chicago Cubs, and today's Power Players is brought to you by Power Mat. And how about we go to the Toronto Blue Jays, and no more power coming anywhere in baseball than north of the border, Buck.
They lead the majors in doubles, home runs, they're second, RBIs, they're second. Jose Bautista hit his 16th home run today. That leads the majors. It also ties his career high in home runs. In here, we're still in May, but they have a very aggressive attack. Swing the bats, don't hit for much of an average, but boy, they can come back from any deficit. They have 14 come from behind wins this year. And then you factor in Ricky Romero and Sean Markham, two outstanding young pitchers. It's been a pretty good club. They are now 30-22 as they swept the Orioles for a second time this year.
So the second American League club to 30 wins, the Toronto Blue Jays, and we'll see them next week, the Blue Jays and the Yankees from Toronto, as Wainwright rolls 1-2 short. You can go to si.com/see it live to learn about the Power Fan See It Live sweepstakes presented by Power Man. I'm looking forward to seeing the Blue Jays Power Show at the Rogers Center next weekend.
Well, they've got a chance to get Jesse Litch back, the fine young starting pitcher that's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Cecil won yesterday, Ricky Romero won today, Markham on Friday. So their young pitchers have really held their own. And that was a big concern given the fact they had traded away Roy Halladay in the offseason. So everybody expected they would fall flat on their face, but they have some young starting pitchers that use that kind of as a rallying cry, and they've really pulled together and they've gotten off to a good start.
You just never know in this game, right?
Well, the big thing now is they have a big test. Tampa Bay comes to Toronto tomorrow for 3 games, then the Yankees, then they go right back to Tampa Bay. So they're playing the powerhouses in the East. So this is an important part of their schedule.
Well, meanwhile, how about Ryan Dempster? It looked like he was on the ropes in that 5th inning. A 3-run inning for St. Louis. Pujols homered in that frame, his 2nd homer of the game against Dempster. He has come back, had a 3-up, 3-down 6th, and is trying to give Lou Piniella some key innings here with a little bit of uncertainty in his starting rotation. Randy Wells will return tomorrow after just 16 pitches. He failed to get an out against the Cardinals here Friday. He's been terrific, Randy Wells, but that was his worst start of his brief major league career. Dempster from the windup has that unusual waggle with his glove. He does that always from the windup to try to get the hitters off the scent, if you will, of his split finger fastball.
Yeah, a lot of pitchers have become very aware of that. You'll see pitchers set that ball in that split finger grip if they begin out of their glove. Dempster uses that split finger, and you can see he's setting the grip in his hand before he goes into the glove, but then to camouflage the movement, Rick waggles that glove, and then makes another good pitch to Schumacher.
So Schumacher is called out. 2-up, 2-down for Dempster, and he is now retired 6 in a row since the Matt Holliday infield hit.
Yeah.
7 strikeouts for Dempster. Bob Howry is the right-hander. John Grabo the lefty. Cubs will now have 4 left-handers in their bullpen. Both of these teams with interesting setups in their bullpen. Tony La Russa is currently carrying 13 pitchers, 8 in the bullpen. That could change as they move forward here. But 4 left-handers in one bullpen is interesting as well, as Ludwig sends one deep to left center. That is going to bounce off the wall And Ryan Ludwig again will get Pujols to the plate. It's a double with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Well, Lou Piniella is on his way to the mound. Can't imagine a scenario with a base open at first after what Pujols has done today that Piniella would pitch to Pujols in this spot.
Still discussing the options. It doesn't look like he's made up his mind to make a pitching change here. He's just giving Dempster the options of attacking Pujols, putting him on.
Now Pujols with 2 home runs today. Dempster on both occasions was ahead in the count. That was a 1-2 pitch that he hit out in the 1st inning, and then in the 5th inning a 3-2 pitch. And Pujols delivers his 2nd home run of the day and now has 11. And they'll go ahead and walk Albert Pujols to face Matt Holliday.
Well, and he just went out there and said, you know, what do you want to do? Let's put him on and see what we can do with Matt Holliday. The unfortunate thing for the Cubs is Matt Holliday's 6 for 12 in this series. Mind you, he's not Albert Pujols, but he's a very good hitter who's having a very good series. So this is how the Cardinals lineup works. We've seen it all afternoon. Going back to that 5th inning when Brendan Ryan, hitting in the 8th spot, reached base with the leadoff walk. That compounded the situation for Lou Piniella when the Cardinals could then play hit and run, bunt. They had a stolen base, moved the runner up, and then with 2 outs, Ludwig and Pujols delivered.
Well, Dempster, the intentional pass. Pujols leads the league in intentional walks. That's his 16th. That has created a ton of base runners for Matt Holliday. 123 pitches for Dempster. And he is into some deep territory here. 2 on with Holliday coming up. Holliday with 2 hits today, a couple of singles. He reached on an infield hit his last time up. He was up with 2 on in the 3rd inning and rolled into a double play that ended the frame. Slices one to right field. That's a base hit. Fukudome, he'll make the throw to the plate. Ludwig, the slide, he's in there as Matt Holliday makes him pay. An RBI single, and the Cardinals now have a 5-0 lead at Wrigley Field.
And you can see Lou Piniella didn't hesitate, popped right out of the dugout, and he'll now make the pitching change. But Matt Holliday not trying to do too much with it, just inside outs the ball into right field, picks up the 2-out RBI, and knocks Ryan Dempster out of the game.
We will take a timeout. Dempster is gone. 6 2/3 and on the hook for the loss. Stay with us. Indeed, it is a beautiful day here in Chicago, and the Cardinals are putting it all together so far. Getting great pitching from Adam Wainwright, timely hitting, all 5 of their runs coming with 2 outs. And they have chased the starter Ryan Dempster. Now Bob Howry takes over his 2nd tour here in Chicago. And he picks it up with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Howry to face David Freese. 2 on. Pujols is at 2nd. Holliday at 1st.
All 5 runs for the Cardinals have come with 2 outs today. Just reflects their veteran hitters in this lineup just having good approaches with runners on in tough situations.
Now the final numbers for Ryan Dempster: 6 2/3. He still has 2 base runners that are his responsibility. 125 pitches today for Ryan Dempster.
That's a season high for Dempster. He previously threw 123 pitches in a game. I'm not a big proponent for really worrying about pitch count. He had that real extended inning back in the fifth. But I think Lou Piniella was out there just hoping that he could get out of that situation and keep it a 4-run game and keep him in a position to maybe come back and get off the hook, maybe even get a win if his Cub could come back.
Well, Ryan Ludwig has hurt him twice. There's a base hit back up the middle. Pujols around third. He'll score. So the Cardinals keep pounding away with 2 outs, and it is 6-0 St. Louis. Another run that will belong to Dempster. RBI for David Freese gives him 29 for the season. Well, Freese has been terrific with 2 outs this year. 18 of his 29 RBIs have come with 2 away. And all 6 coming with 2 out here today for the Cardinals. 2 on for John Jay. Bobby Howry was with the Arizona Diamondbacks to start the year. Let go by Arizona. The Cubs signed him, and he is back in their bullpen. He was part of their playoff run back in 2008.
Well, Howry started out with the White Sox and then began a trek around both leagues.
Jay pops it up. Castro with the shades on makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Cardinals do more damage with 2 outs. 2 more runs scored, and it's 6-0 for Adam Wainwright.
Mays hit 2. He had 2 coming in, and Holiday had a big 2-out RBI right there. But the big thing about it is when your big guys are driving in runs, the rest of the team relaxes, and then they too have good at bats. There are guys that just look to you and say, well, Albert's going to get his hits. We know that. Matt now is going to also drive in key runs, and then we just have to get one here and there, and we're looking good.
Well, Holiday and Pujols combining for 5 hits. And those 2 players have been on base 7 times in this game, and they've driven in the 4 runs.
Well, that just keeps pressure on the opposing pitchers as they look around and you see Albert at first base and just always have somebody tough to deal with. And Ludwig is part of that as well.
Soriano chases one. Molina will secure it at first. And another strikeout for Adam Wainwright. That's one thing to get runs. It's another thing to keep your foot on the pedal on the other side. And that's exactly what Wainwright has done with the Chicago Cubs. Now remember, he had the bases loaded behind him in the 4th inning with just 1 out. Kind of pitched around Giovanni Soto that inning, and then got a double play ball from Starlin Castro, and Cardinals haven't had a base runner since. Soto sends one deep to left. There it goes. Something to cheer about here at Wrigley as Giovanni Soto ambushes Adam Wainwright for his 5th home run of the year.
Soto got a high fastball on the first pitch and drilled it into the seats in left center. And this is what Wainwright's supposed to do. Get ahead, bottom of the order, got a 6-run lead, go after him, and Soto spoiled that strategy. But you know, Wainwright, he wouldn't change a thing about that. Maybe just the location got a little bit up in the zone. But he's got a comfortable lead now, and he's just going to try to throw strikes and make good pitches.
Castro on the first pitch, and that's a base hit. So here come the Cubs swinging away at the first pitch. And Castro has his 2nd hit of the game. He's 2 for 3. Wainwright a base runner behind him. Pitcher spot is coming up here, and instead of Bob Howry, Piniella makes the call to his bench, and it's Tyler Colvin. And we might be seeing some activity in the Cardinal bullpen as well. Big numbers for Colvin. He leads National League rookies in batting to start the day. He's trying to find some playing time with Lou Piniella. All of their outfielders have produced. 5 outfielders who all need at-bats. And Colvin may be the most deserving, but he's the furthest down on the totem pole.
Well, he's done a great job of coming off the bench, swinging the bat. He had a pinch hit home run here on Friday, 5th inning. the big curveball. But it's interesting, Colvin came out of Clemson University, big college career, and then he was drafted, signed by the Cubs. He's gone quickly through their organization, hit 300 at Double-A last year with 14 home runs. And he's very athletic. He can play all the outfield positions, runs well, throws well.
Now, he is by far their best defender in the outfield, and typically when the Cubs have the lead late, it's Colvin who comes in for Alfonso Soriano. But Lou Piniella loves the way he plays. He had a monster spring, hit over 400 this spring for the Cubs, and basically hit his way onto this major league roster. And now the order for Piniella is to try to find him some at-bats as he comes in and he strikes out. So Wainwright makes quick work of Tyler Colvin. Strikeout number 8 for Adam Wainwright, and the second strikeout of the 7th inning.
This ball just down and in, and he swings right over the top of a bit of a cut fastball that really jammed him up. Wainwright has taken his strikeouts to another level this year. This season he's averaging 8.6 strikeouts per 9 innings. Been a steady climb for him starting in 07 when he began to start. 6.1 up to 6.2. 2009 8.2, and then the big jump this season.
Yeah, Wainwright coming off a 12 strikeout game his last time out. That was on Tuesday against San Diego. That was a season high for Adam Wainwright. Tough luck loss for Wainwright, however, against the Padres. That was a 1-0 San Diego win. John Garland, who has been an impressive story this year. He improved to 6-2, beating Wainwright and the Cardinals.
Yeah, the only run came on a Jerry Hairston solo home run.
Fukudome with 2 outs. Little bouncer out to second. Schumacher will make the play, and Adam Wainwright bends a little, gives up a home run to Giovanni Soto, but that's all. Cubs are on the board, but it's 6-1 St. Louis as we head to the 8th. Plenty of power in that Yankees lineup as well. And a battle of the American League East. The Boston Red Sox are slowly weaving their way into the picture. They've had a terrific week. John Grabo is the new pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Dempster started, Bobby Howery, and now Grabo.
Grabo pitched an inning on Friday afternoon. Gave up 2 hits and was charged with 2 earned runs. To talk about the Red Sox, they got a bit of unfortunate news with Josh Beckett. He has kind of been slowed down, in Tony Francona's words, in his efforts to come back. With a back strain and just hasn't felt 100% and can't really progress until he does.
And Jacoby Ellsbury back on the disabled list. So those broken ribs, the fractured ribs he'd suffered earlier this year, tried to come back. He came back last week in Philadelphia and then went right back on the disabled list.
One constant has been young Clay Buchholz. He's been terrific this year in his consistency. Of course, you got John Lester at the front of that staff, and he's one of the best in baseball.
Developing some good pennant races as we hit the Memorial Day weekend. Yadier Molina flies out for the first out of the 8th inning against Grabo.
This is about when general managers really sit down and start to take a look at their club. 50 games into the season, they can really get a sense of where they are, what they need, what their holes are. And another 60 games or so, then they'll be closing in on that trade deadline. And you really have to be honest with yourself, whether you're a contender or a pretender at this point. Just kind of let things play out.
Now the Cardinals jumped out quickly. They have come back to the pack a little bit. And speaking of pennant races, how about the National League East? The Phillies have really struggled. They were shut out again today, the 5th time in the last 8 games. They're now just 7 over. And the Atlanta Braves, who were 6.5 back just a couple of weeks ago. Now just a half game back. That is a very tight division. And a little winning streak here or there, you can go from the bottom to the top and vice versa if you get wrapped up in the axle for a little while.
I tell you what, the Washington Nationals are really interesting. They're at 500 now. And they've got a date June 4th, a game against the Reds.
Brendan Ryan bounces one to Ramirez. Low throw dug out by Derek Lee. 2 outs.
But the rumor had started that Steven Strasburg was going to make his Major League debut on June 4th. They sold that game out. And now they find out that it's going to be in the Pittsburgh series, the following series. So
yeah,
they're going to sell that game out.
I say you keep doing it, right?
Well, he's coming next week. Make sure you get your tickets.
These leaks. Who's the mole letting this information out? Steven Strasburg actually gave up 3 runs yesterday, the most he's allowed. And they start down in the minor leagues, but his impending arrival is much anticipated. Much anticipated. I think everyone is excited to see Strasburg. And remember, at the beginning of the year, Strasburg was the headliner as far as minor league players go, and those we might see. But remember, Aroldis Chapman is in that argument as well, and Chapman is in the minor league system with the Cincinnati Reds, and we might see him this summer. Inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for Graybo. As Stavanoa grounds out, Wainwright is out of the game, but a 6-1 Cardinal lead. TNT. Jason Mott, the hard-throwing right-hander for the Cardinals, takes over for Adam Wainwright. Well, another great game for Wainwright. He continues his run of 6 or more innings. Wainwright goes 7 here this afternoon. Just 1 earned run, strikes out 8. And you see the numbers on Jason Mott. 6-1 St. Louis as we play in the bottom of the 8th inning, and 6 outs to get for the Cardinal bullpen.
Well, you tell a manager that you'll get 7 innings from your starter each time out, he'll be a very happy guy. That can really pare down the arms you need out of the bullpen. Interesting. Tony.
It'll pop up from Terrio. Tough Sunfield and right, but Ludwig is there for out number 1.
And look at John Jay right over there to help him out to make sure he didn't lose that ball in the sun. But Tony La Russa is carrying 13 pitchers right now. And he said this morning, I'd always lean toward the extra pitcher. I can make a move with a position player whenever I have to. When you think about the makeup of his lineup, he's not going to do an awful lot of juggling. But he'll take the extra arms down in this bullpen to help him get through games, where he understands the value of winning games is all about how well you do it from the mound.
And Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan have that unwritten rule that as you get to the month of June, they like to build that extra day off. There are some days off in the month of June. He says he's always done that, and it buys you success in August when you can get through the month of June. And let's say even if you have an off day, instead of staying on rotation, moving a man up to pitch on his regular day's rest, but go ahead and take that day off, give the starting pitcher an extra day. It's always been successful for him, and he has a couple of horses at the top of his starting rotation to do that with.
It was really interesting the way he phrased it. He says you can't be afraid to lose a game in June because it will pay you dividends in September and October. And he wasn't so presumptuous to mention October, but that's the impact. If you have Carpenter and Wainwright reasonably fresh at the end of the season, they can crank out good games for you in September and hopefully get you a chance to play October baseball.
Well, and the Cardinals will enjoy an off day Thursday, and Tony La Russa wasn't quite ready to commit on who was going to pitch before and after because he wants to see how this game mapped out today. Chris Carpenter was great for the Cardinals on Friday night. Carpenter and Wainwright make up one of the top tandems, not just in the National League, but in all of baseball.
I had Chris Carpenter in Toronto when I managed the Blue Jays, and I loved what he told me one day. He says the definition of a starting pitcher is to win the game. Not have a quality start, not pitch so many innings. It's to win the game. I mean, that's old-fashioned baseball. And Carpenter is one of those guys that makes everybody better. Not only the pitchers, but everybody on the team. The way he conducts himself, the way he works in between starts, the way he handles himself. His numbers on Friday were impressive again. 7 hits, 1 run, only a walk. But Carpenter and Wainwright, now young Wainwright, who's younger than Carp, has the same kind of impact as Carpenter in that clubhouse.
And it was interesting that Tony La Russa, Dave Duncan, and the Cardinals, they made sure Wainwright lockered next to Carpenter. They made sure he spent a lot of time with Chris Carpenter when Carpenter came back from his injury. Now they've separated the two, not just in the starting rotation, but also underneath as well, outside the lines, so they can impact other pitchers. And with these 3 rookies now in the starting rotation for St. Louis, they're having that kind of impact. Adam Wainwright is pitching to decision just about every time out as well. His 11th start here today in his 10 previous starts, 6-3 record. And he has gone at least 6 innings in every start this season, Adam Wainwright. So that is 11 in a row now for Wainwright this year, going at least 6 innings. Today he goes 7.
And he's averaging 7 innings per start. And that's just exactly what managers hope for when they send a starter out.
Full count to Derek Lee. He's 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. And down he goes. Mott strikes him out. Tough day at the office for Derek Lee. 2 up and 2 down for Mott. Well, the Cardinals have kept him quiet here at Wrigley. And are 4 outs away from taking 2 out of 3 from their division rivals.
Well, you know what, Brian, what that does too is if they can continue to keep pace with the Reds, then they are free to skip Carpenter and give them extra days and move Wainwright an extra day or 2, because there's not the pressure to close ground if you're trailing by so much. And then you can just spot start a guy here and there. So you don't have to worry about makeup. That's why Tony is constantly reminding his players, we got to win series. Let's win series. When we do that, everything's going to take care of itself.
Now the Cardinals shut out yesterday. Carlos Silva now 7-0 for the Chicago Cubs. That's been a great story as well. Silva, in the words of his manager Lou Piniella, said it was the best he's seen him as a Cub. Came up with win number 7 for Chicago yesterday as he shut him out. Ramirez pops it up. Long run. Ludwig is coming in, and he's got it for the out. So Jason Mott, a 3-up, 3-down inning. And the Cardinals still lead it 6-1 as we head to the 9th. Memphis Redbirds, the AAA affiliate of the Cardinals, but Memphis beat on TNT. That's a Memphis you want to be associated with. If you're in Memphis now, you're doing all you can to get to St. Louis.
John Jay, the center fielder, was there not long ago.
It's part of the Memphis beat. Graybo back on the mound against the Cardinals here in the 9th inning, top of the order. 6-1 St. Louis. Albert Pujols has had a big game here today at Wrigley Field. On base all 4 times, 2 home runs, 2 walks, 3 runs batted in, and all 6 runs for the Redbirds with 2 away as Schumacher strikes out. Well, we have seen a ton of strikeouts in this game as well. 8 strikeouts for Cubs pitching, 9 strikeouts for Cardinal pitching. Now Ryan Ludwig keyed 2 rallies for the Cardinals. Yeah, we talked today about Ludwig batting in that 2-hole for Tony La Russa. He came up big twice. He delivered a 2-out RBI single in the 5th inning. That got Pujols to the plate, who then delivered a 2-run homer. And then Ludwig had a double in the 7th inning. That brought Albert up, an intentional walk, and then it was Holiday and Freese with RBI hits.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a better spot in baseball to hit in the lineup than that of hitting in front of Albert Pujols. And Ludwig is a great hitter in his own right, but having Pujols standing on deck in a game like today, he's been on base 4 times. He's hit 2 home runs, scored 2 runs, and driven in 3. And you got Pujols standing on deck behind you, and you're thinking, well, I'll probably get a pretty good pitch to hit here, 2-2.
Good chance it's going to be a strike. Now Ludwig covers the plate so well. Can reach out. He has plenty of power. He's hit some of the longest home runs in Busch Stadium history. New Busch. You know, when Matt Holliday was struggling a couple of weeks ago, Tony La Russa flip-flopped Pujols and Holliday because he wanted Holliday to hit in that spot in front of Albert. Did not want to move Ryan Ludwig from the 2-hole. Holliday's had a good day today as well. So La Russa getting production from the middle of his batting order. The 2-2 is high and outside. Count goes full.
Well, the interesting thing about Ludwig is he started out in the Oakland system, played for Texas a couple of years, then went to Cleveland, came to St. Louis in 2007, but he's just 31 years old. He's got a lot of baseball ahead of him, and certainly he'd love to stay here in St. Louis for the long haul, I'm sure. When you have Matt Holliday, and they've just signed Matt Holliday for the long haul, Albert Pujols comes up next year. You keep the core of this offense together with these 3 guys, chances are you're going to score a few runs for the next several years.
Called strike 3 as Ludwig is rung up. John Graybo hits the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts for John Graybo.
Well, Lou Pinella's little visit to the mound early in the ball game to talk to Mike Estabrook about his strike zone. He's had a little impact since then. We've seen a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, you're right. There are 3 bases open for Pujols here. Graybo deals him strike 1. It's not out of the question. But in a 6-1 game, we'll see what Graybo does with Albert. Saw a 3-homer game earlier this week with Miguel Cabrera. Corey Hart of the Brewers homered in 3 consecutive at-bats, but it was over a 2-game stretch.
You know, you got to believe that there comes a point in the ball game when your club is down by 6, down by 5 runs here, 6-1. You think, well, maybe I can get Pujols out now.
Yeah, not usually. Maybe he'll expand the strike zone a little bit. Don't count on it. And that one is launched into center field. Did he get enough? Bird is on the run, and there it goes. Albert Pujols with a 3-home run game. And all 3 home runs coming with 2 strikes. Have a day, Albert.
Albert Pujols just never gives away an at-bat. Very slight toe turn, no movement at all with that foot, just pushes back, and he can cover the plate. 2 strikes, it doesn't make any difference. He goes deep to center.
His last 3-home run game was September of '06 against the Pirates. So it has been nearly 4 years. Pujols has not been retired today. 5 trips to the plate, 3 home runs, 2 walks, all 3 home runs with 2 strikes, and all 3 with 2 outs. What a day for Albert Pujols. Even got an ovation from some Cub fans here at Wrigley Field. Even Cub fans can appreciate the kind of day he had today.
You're just saying one of the true great hitters of all time in Albert Pujols. And in our interview with Tony La Russa in game, he talked about Pujols. He says, well, it looks like Albert's starting to get comfortable after that first home run. He said, if we have to worry about Albert, we don't have any problems.
Well, Albert Pujols with his 3 home runs today zooms to the top of the league in home runs. He is now tied for the National League lead with 4 others. I mentioned Jose Bautista is the American League leader in home runs with 16. All of a sudden, Pujols is at the top with Kelly Johnson, Corey Hart, Dan Uggla, and Mark Reynolds. So some unfamiliar names in that group outside of Mark Reynolds. And now Pujols joins the list. Holiday rips one back up the middle, a base hit. They must have heard you do the open today, Buck.
Thought about the heart of the order. They took it personally. We'll show you. 4 hits for Matt Holliday. 3 home runs for Albert Pujols. Holliday came into this game 4 for 9 in the series. He is now 8 for 14.
How about 9 trips on base for Pujols and Holliday combined? Well, their power numbers, their production numbers struggled as David Freese will watch this one go. And another one on to Waveland. As the Cardinals are teeing off here with 2 outs against Graybo. That is the 3rd ball onto Waveland Avenue today. David Freese with his 4th home run, a 2-run shot. And it's 9-1 St. Louis.
Great extension by David Freese as he gets that ball out over the play. Then they just wave it bye-bye over the stands up the street. This is a good way to end up a road trip. Going home to play the Reds tomorrow. A big central rivalry. Trying to gather some momentum and close ground on the front-running Reds who lost today.
The rookie Freese making a strong run at Rookie of the Year this year. If he stays healthy, he'll be in the mix. Freese with 3 runs batted in today on his 3rd hit. Had a 2-out single and an RBI in the 7th. Now a 2-out 2-run home run. And 31 runs batted in for Freese. John Jay, a base hit.
Well, the Cardinals began this series with 6 straight hits to begin it on Friday in the 1st inning. Knocked Randy Wells out, the starter, on 16 pitches. And now with 2 outs here in the 9th, they've put 4 hits back-to-back, including 2 home runs. What did Nuke Lelouch say? He wants to announce his presence with authority.
That's right. They came in swinging and they're going out swinging against Lou Pinella's Cubs. Boy, what a show today for the Cardinals. 14 hits and Pujols leading the way. It's always a good time to go, get a little face time with your hitting coach after a day like that.
Oh, he mentioned McGuire talked about Pujols in his plate coverage. That last home run was a great example of it. The ball was out over the plate. And he just drove it into center field out of the ballpark. And there it sits.
Well, we've seen 3 wall scrapers in this game. But here at Wrigley Field, different kind of wall scrapers. Wall scrapers on the walls of the buildings across Waveland Avenue. Those long home runs. It's been a busy day out there for the Ball Hawks on the street.
Lots of souvenirs. And 5 home runs hit in the game.
And the key is, if you're going to camp out on Sheffield or on Waveland, you always bring an extra baseball. That way, if you do get a a Major League Baseball, then you can throw the dummy back over the fence and you get an ovation for it. That one's drilled into right, but caught by Fukudome. The St. Louis Cardinals announcing their presence of authority. Pujols with 3 home runs. He goes dead central in the 9th. And it's 9-1 St. Louis. Well, the sun certainly shining down on Albert Pujols today. And how about the Cardinals? 3, 4, and 5 hitters. The power surge with Pujols and Holiday. Look at all the damage done. And if you expand it to David Freese, 8 runs batted in, 4 home runs in this game. As Tony La Russa getting all he wanted and more from Pujols and Holiday. Ryan Ludwig's had a big day at the plate. David Freese around those 2 hitters. So a big afternoon at the ballpark for the middle of that Cardinal batting order. Kyle McClellan is on to pitch, trying to wrap it up here at Wrigley Field. Jason Mott, a scoreless 8th inning with a strikeout. As McClellan faces Marlon Byrd to lead off his 20th appearance. He's been terrific as well. Tony La Russa has pushed all the right buttons. He'll be the first to tell you that whoever he's put in has had a lot of success in the bullpen. It helps to have the 2 aces at the front of the rotation. But a 3rd ace has emerged as well, rookie Jaime Garcia. He's among league leaders in earned run average. Freese makes the play on Byrd.
Well, every manager wants to pitch the bullpen when they want to, not out of necessity. And when you have starters like Carpenter, Wainwright, and Garcia, you're going to have that opportunity to pick and choose, go for matchups. That puts the relievers in the best possible situations. So Dave Duncan, Tony La Russa can match up pitchers with a lineup that really suits them to their strengths. And boy, when you get your starter to pitch 7 innings, you can sit back and just hand pick the matchups. Plus, it keeps your relievers fresh. They don't have to pitch every night.
I think on every manager's tombstone you can put done in by a bullpen. That's usually what costs the manager a job. As Soriano rolls to Ryan, low throw dug out by Pujols. 2 up and 2 down.
Well,
you know where I'm coming from.
The Angels are the best example of that this season. The Angels had the best bullpen for 10 years. From 2000 to 2009, best bullpen in the American League. This year they have the worst bullpen, and their record reflects that.
Giovanni Soto represents the only tally for the Cubs today. Had a home run in the 7th inning. Adam Wainwright was outstanding once again. 7 innings, just 1 run, struck out 8. And Wainwright headed to 7-3 for the year. We mentioned the 11 straight starts for Adam Wainwright with 6 innings or more this year. But if you go back to last season, he has now put together 16 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings. To Buck's point about saving a bullpen when you have a starter that can go deep into a game, and at the very worst, the bullpen required only to pick up 9 outs with Adam Wainwright on the mound.
And there's a couple other things to factor in for Tony La Russa. Chris Carpenter, Adam Wainwright, they understand baseball. They hold the runners close. They swing the bats. They feel their position.
Soto pops it up. Freese will make the catch, and that's your ball game today. So the Cardinals hang an L on the Chicago Cubs here at Wrigley. They win the series 2 out of 3. 9-1 the final score. Wainwright the winner, 7-3. Pujols with 3 home runs, his first 3-homer game since 2006. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back and give you all the numbers and wrap it up from the north side. Stay with us. And we are back here at Wrigley Field in Chicago, where the Cardinals beat the Cubs. A final score of 9-1 here at Wrigley Field. St. Louis winning the series 2 out of 3. As Adam Wainwright continues to impress. To 7-3 he goes. Albert Pujols, the man of the hour, Buck.
all with big 2-out hits. Albert Pujols in the first, Albert Pujols in the fifth, and then Albert Pujols in the ninth, all coming with 2 outs. A big 3 home run day, his first 3 home run day since 2006 against the Pirates. And once again, the Cardinals have the tone set by a starting pitcher. Adam Wainwright was terrific. 7 strikeouts today. Possibly the most important pitch was a ground ball he got off the bat of Starlin Castro in the 4th inning to end the Cub threat. But the Cardinals were well in command of this behind Albert Pujols and Matt Holliday at the plate tonight.
And let's take a look at the Verizon game summary. Adam Wainwright continues to dominate his division. Over the last 3 seasons, Adam Wainwright is now 19-5 against the National League Central. He picks up his 7th win and a 9-1 victory here today for St. Louis. The Cardinals have a date with the first place Cincinnati Reds tomorrow in St. Louis. That'll be a great matchup in this division for the Cardinals and the Reds, and we'll see who ends up at the top. Great Memorial Day weekend here. We hope you enjoyed Memorial Day tomorrow. Remember the holiday and be a safe holiday for you as well. Our final score today at Wrigley, Cardinals 9, Cubs 1. We invite you to join us next Sunday on TBS when the Yankees head to Toronto to face the Blue Jays for a divisional matchup north of the border. All the action starts at 1 Eastern next Sunday on TBS. Coming up next, it's Bloopers. TBS is your exclusive home for the entire 2010 Division Series and the American League Championship Series. For Buck Martinez and our entire TBS crew, I'm Brian Anderson. So long from Chicago.